In the 1940s, during the Soviet Union's relentless pursuit of unconventional science, a classified experiment was undertaken in a remote facility hidden deep within the icy wilderness. The objective was chillingly straightforward: keep 5 political prisoners awake for 15 consecutive days using a newly developed stimulant gas. Freedom was promised to those who endured, but none of them knew the nightmare that awaited. The first few days were uneventful. The prisoners engaged in conversations, sharing fragments of their lives and crimes while the room was monitored through microphones and outdated cameras. As the days passed, their tones shifted. Conversations turned into paranoid whispers, laden with unease. By the 5th day, the atmosphere grew tense, and the prisoners began displaying signs of agitation. On the 6th day, a scream echoed through the chamber. One of the prisoners screamed uncontrollably, clawing at his skin as if trying to peel it off. At first, the others ignored him, but soon his cries became contagious. The room filled with bursts of maniacal laughter, guttural noises, and frenzied murmurs. By the 9th day, everything fell silent. The cameras showed only darkness. The prisoners had torn apart the bedding and blocked the glass window. When the researchers tried communicating through the intercom, the only response was a hoarse voice: "We no longer want freedom." When the chamber was finally opened, the scene inside was pure horror. Blood and viscera smeared the walls, forming chaotic, incomprehensible patterns. 4 of the prisoners were still alive, though they were barely recognizable as human. One had disemboweled himself, arranging his entrails methodically on the floor, yet remained conscious and aware. Another gnawed at the flesh of his own arm, exposing the bone beneath. Their eyes held no trace of sanity, only an insatiable, predatory hunger. Instead of attacking the researchers, they began pleading, "Keep us awake. We must stay awake." The gas was resumed out of morbid curiosity. The surviving prisoners displayed inhuman resilience, enduring their grievous wounds without flinching. One began muttering in a low voice, describing visions of nightmares so vivid that they defied reality. He claimed they had transcended human consciousness and touched something far darker. When the researchers decided to terminate the experiment, one of the prisoners erupted into maniacal laughter and spoke his final words: "We are what waits in the dark corners of your mind. We are what comes when you close your eyes." The project was permanently shut down, but the leaked accounts of the experiment became one of the most infamous and haunting tales in modern history. In 2009, an eerie and disturbing figure appeared on the internet, an urban legend born from a forum discussion. The figure was tall, faceless, and thin, with tentacle-like appendages that seemed to. The story. B. The 2 girls were arrested and charged with attempted murder. The event drew nationwide attention, causing many to question the blurred lines between fiction and reality, and the terrifying power of internet myths. Despite being entirely fictional, the Slender Man legend had a tangible impact, twisting young minds into be. For years, people have been reporting eerie encounters with strange children, often seen at night on desolate roads or in the doorways of homes. These children, who appear to be no older than 10 or 12, have eyes that are entirely black, no sclera, no iris, only an abyssal, soulless blackness. They seem to emerge out of nowhere, appearing in quiet, isolated areas, and always asking to be let in. Whether it's into a car or... The most disturbing aspect of these encounters is not just the children's unsettling appearance but the overwhelming sense of dread that accompanies them. Those who have reported these encounters often describe a sudden, unshakable fear, as if something deeply wrong is happening, though they can't quite explain why. Sometimes, they'll notice that the children speak in a flat, monotone voice, without emotion or warmth, and their bodies. One of the most chilling aspects of the black-eyed children is that they seem to possess an unnatural ability to influence the minds of those they encounter. People who have been approached by them often report feeling an intense urge to comply with their request, despite every instinct telling them to run. Some say that if you look into their eyes for too long, you'll feel an inexplicable compulsion to open the door or roll down the window. Despite multiple reports from around the world, no one has ever proven the existence of the black-eyed children. Still, their legend persists, and those who claim to have encountered them never forget the cold, chilling terror they felt. The mystery of these strange, black-eyed visitors remains one of